sit down. We're almost to school. It's time now for the school report. Today we welcome Lori Frerk to the studio, the superintendent of the Arcadia School District, brought to you by Poppy Bus Service. The school report starts right now.
That is right, everybody. It is time for our Friday school report. I got Lori Frerk in the house. How are you, Lori?
Great. Happy spring.
Beautiful spring day.
Wonderful week, hasn't it, for everybody?
Yeah, it sounds like you guys had a day off on Monday, huh?
Yeah, we certainly did.
Yeah.
On Sunday when it was nice and sunny and stuff, I'm like, oh, did I make the right call? And you're like, no, because it took about 24 hours to get the parking lots cleaned.
Yeah, it was crazy. I don't know if it was Sunday or Monday. Sometime there, it's like I woke up at a certain point during the night. I looked out, I'm like, this isn't bad. I woke up 3 hours later. I'm like, what happened?
Yes, I know. It was crazy. I think we've ended up with about 26 inches or 28 inches in Arcadia area. I don't even know what was on the ridges where, going into the Wamadi and stuff. I'm sure it was just as bad.
Yep. And what were you saying? You were saying like 2018 was the last big one like this, I think.
Correct. And I was in Green Bay at the time.
Yeah.
We had 2 feet, and my parents ended up with 27 feet, or 27 inches, not feet. But
feet, that'd be a lot.
I know. They ended up with 27 inches out of this one, so.
Yeah, so we count 5 years out, guys, and start packing up all your stuff you need to survive.
I know, but look what 4 days does to you.
I know. By Monday, I'm sure, was 73 degrees this weekend.
Yeah. The only thing I'm worried about right now is flooding for families, but also for our schools, making sure that we're safe and take care of those pieces, because where's the water going to go?
Oh, no kidding.
It goes down, I understand that, but the rivers are going to get high and the little creeks and stuff are going to get full, so we just got to be careful. And, kudos to our parents and our county workers and that got our at least our bus lanes open for us to turn around, because we have some turnaround points out there, and our kids got to school on Tuesday and off we went, which is great because of course, it was pre-ACT day on Wednesday, so we had to make sure we had that so our kids could get our assessments in like we normally have. So.
Yep. Oh, yeah. And you're right. We do have to say a big thanks to all the people out there who were plowing. I got a friend that plows, and he said they were working 20 hours. They would go to the shop, sleep at the shop for a few hours, and then get back out there on the road.
Right. I don't think sometimes it's like people just find it inconvenient because they didn't get plowed out perfectly. But you have to understand there's many people besides ourselves that need that process. So even in the city, I live in the city of Arcadia. I live on Main Street, and the county is the one that does that road because of the county road. Yep. Again, they had still 4 feet out into the road, and the city came around and plowed that out. But everybody was doing their job as best they can, and putting the snow where the best they can, because where else do you plow it? And if you were at your home and you had a longer driveway, you know that you needed a backhoe or you needed a tractor to get out of there, because it just is what it was.
Yep, that's like us. We got a quarter of our driveway done. It's like a 1 lane out. We can get the 2 cars barely in there, but we're just going to leave it to melt because there's nowhere to go with the snow. I mean, nowhere at all.
That's what I told my husband at first. I'm like, if it's going to snow, I'm just going to let it be. And I'm like, ooh, we can't do that. And of course, then it buckled on us because we're like, okay, we had our snowblower in storage, and we're like, okay, we'll get it tomorrow. Well, mistake number 1. Mistake number 2 is we got it, and then of course we broke it. We're like, oh my goodness. Then he starts shoveling, and of course then he breaks the shovel, so we have to go get a shovel. But our wonderful neighbor helped us out and plowed us out, so it was great. It was awesome. So
that's so good.
Just neighbor helping neighbor. That's all we have to do. Yeah. I mean, and that's what we should be doing overall. So
and that's one thing I saw a lot of. It was neighbors, farmers, everyone out there helping. Like the way I got out was I told our town guys, I said, just put me last on the list. I want everyone else to get out first. And then just one day, my neighbor Burke just shows up in his little tractor, just starts digging, and wouldn't take any money or help, so I don't know. I owe him a case of beer or supper or something, I think.
Yeah, we owe that. I mean, I can tell you our elementary kids love it because the piles are high for them to sled down into the playground, so they're enjoying it right now as much as possible. And I look at it going, I remember doing that. No, I can't do that anymore. My body says no.
So, I'm sure the kids love the snow days.
They do. They do and they don't. They love being in school because, again, we're the safest area for them. We give them the breakfast. They got the lunch, so we're good.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's good. And you said you got a list of things going on around the area.
So for us, at least in Arcadia, I have to make sure I get a list because I don't have. You keep that mindset. But one big event that's actually happening next week on the 26th is we're actually going to have a business career opportunity at the Wanik Center and the arena. So there's about 50 businesses in that to have a career fair all the way through about 5 o'clock at night. So we do that with the TVC, and then during the day, all of the schools then come there, and then they can meet with all of the new businesses and so forth and see if they can get, job opportunities, or even thinking about youth apprenticeships when they get into that junior, senior year, so that we can do those things. Like our middle school has a glow dance coming up. Our elementary, they have a reading night coming up on April 9th from 4 to 6 for fun games, hot dogs and everything for our parents and that. And then also, probably for every school, as we're going through, we have the FCCLA, state FCCLA. That's where the HOSA and all those other pieces, those events. So our kids are doing those things. Between our person and another person, they're taking a total of 20 kids down to a state competition. And then we also have our state art fair in Madison. So we've got kids going in there. I mean, all these opportunities are happening. And even coming in, you talked about music, right? So solo ensemble and all those things are coming up for all of our kids. There's other opportunities other than the athletics out on the field. So, but I will put a note in tonight. At least my women at GB are playing tonight at the NCAA tournament, so I'm gonna take time to watch that.
That's awesome. Well, we wish them the best of luck.
Oh yeah, well either that 12th or 13th seed, but it happens, doesn't it?
It does happen.
So those things are happening, and we're in trimester 3.
Yeah, I know we were talking about that. I was like, how many days are left? I can't believe we are that close. Because you look at the snow, you don't think it's that close to summertime.
So we're anywhere between 45 to 50 days left of the school itself. We're coming into graduation in later May, which is closer to our broiler days overall. And so you're looking at some things coming to end for our seniors. We always think they always want to get away, but once it gets closer, that nervousness starts. And so then we just have to take that care, and hopefully we've given them the skills and the abilities to get out there, either to go to their career, whatever, as a whole, go into the military, go into the tech colleges or the colleges of their choices, whatever they choose, that we've given them those skills to get there.
And like you said, there is that nervousness that comes. Kids always like, I can't wait to graduate high school. I was like that too, and I was one. I went to the tech school and I graduated early because I had a kid early, so I had to get out and work. So I did that thing. But I remember after graduating, and I was out working full time then, and driving by the school, seeing the friends that I had still in school. It was just kind of heartbreaking. It takes a while to get your bearings in your early 20s like that. So I tell all kids, like, if you feel unsure about it, that's a normal feeling. It takes a while to get your bearings in life, and that's okay.
I just like I said, I still don't know if I know what I want to do in life, right? And I'm older, and it is. I mean, we've got to be able to provide them the skills in school, so that they're more adaptable to the different careers that are coming up. Because careers that are coming up, we look at our elementary kids right now. If you look at our kindergartners, some of their careers aren't even developed yet. We don't even know what they're going to have. So we've got to be able to provide them all of those skills in that process, so that they can be creative, that they can be adaptable, and that they can learn beyond us. And so those are the types of things I think that when you listen to all the other TVC superintendents in that's where we're coming with that emerging technology. How can that emerging technology help us and support our instruction so that we can build those skills even deeper?
Well, because like you say, the kids who are graduating now, even the jobs they have, the kids who are starting kindergarten now may not even exist by the time they get out. So.
Correct. I mean, you're just looking at larger changes in life than what we went through. Like, again, I lived through the 70s. I understand what that was happening, right? I think back to my grandmother, who was born in 1913. Think of all the things she went through with electricity in the home. Then, the radio was there, but then TV came, all those changes, cars and so forth. We've had those changes. Like, I went through. Well, I had the phone on the wall with the cord, right? We were happy to get the longer cord so we could go somewhere else in the house. And then I remember the bag phones for the cell phones and the larger cell, and all that technology changes. Just like when my husband and I bought our first computer for home, it was a 486DX. It was a dinosaur, but that was the best of the time, right? And all these things just change and adapt, and they've adapted, but the pace has increased dramatically. Yeah. I would give you an exponential curve because I was a math teacher, but I won't do that for everybody out there. But that's what it is. And then, but that mindset of how to adapt, how to change. Yeah. So when you talk about like Gemini or you talk about ChatGPT, all those pieces, if kids are going in there and just getting answers, then we're not instructing the proper way.
Yeah.
That's not the way we should be. It should be a helpful tool to help them dive deeper into what is there, and they need to create that. Even at that, if you're going to ask ChatGPT, hopefully you have the smarts to read it, because a lot of things that are coming through aren't true.
Yep, you read it and you got to fact check it.
Correct, as you're going through. So those are the types of things that we're developing as a TVC overall, and looking at how do we make those adaptations and changes. That emerging technology is not going to supplant for instruction. That instruction is still going to be necessary in process, because those teachers, it's just going to help them develop other types of assessments or other types of units so that they can deepen students' learning progress. Yeah. So instead of always being at one level and everybody do the same thing where half the kids are bored and the other half are like, ooh, it's too hard, at least then it can adjust and they can actually have the same lesson, but then do it to the ability of the kid themselves.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I've enjoyed hearing about in these schools that were, because when I was a kid, it was that way. It was like, and I was ADD. On the spectrum of autism, so it was like it was hard for me. I was kind of the obnoxious, loud kid, because that's how you go out. But the fact that they're kind of working within this now, so some kids can excel in some things, because I could excel in certain things, but other things it were harder for me. And through these technologies, you're finding ways to teach these kids how to learn how they learn.
Correct, right. Like going through. I excel in mathematics. I didn't excel in English language arts.
Yeah.
That part is not my strength. So you got to lean on some other things, but you're leaning on these pieces. When it comes to kids with behavioral issues in elementary, a lot of the times is that they're bored to death.
Yeah.
That their mind is just accelerating.
Yeah.
So how do we make those changes? But how do we do it in a mindful way? So we're looking at how do we do a staff and a student guidelines in a policy. We have to look at a policy and try to provide that policy overall for our district. And we're not just throwing everything at them and say go. So even like the snow day that we had, our staff actually did a virtual professional development day.
Okay.
And they did that on the emerging technology pieces. So they were doing those pieces so that it helps them and grows and develops them as well. Because, as you get older as a teacher too, you kind of get comfortable in how you've been doing things. And these are things that should take what they've done and then enhance them and help them actually adapt them. So years ago, when I was teaching, they were always talking about having every student, not just special ed students, but every student having an IEP, an individualized education plan. We still haven't done it.
Yeah.
We've been talking for 20 years, and we still haven't done it. This is the opportunity to actually begin to do that, and then to show that. So what has to happen is we have to have our parents and guardians understand that school's not going to look like the same as when you were there.
Yeah.
It's not. It's going to be different. It's going to be in that process. Learn with us, learn with your kids, and we'll get those pieces there. We'll still have the reading portion. We'll still have the writing portion. We'll still have those pieces because that part is important. The part of the creativity, of the art, the music, all those pieces, that's a need for us, and that gives that openness for kids to even learn better.
Yep. And some of those programs, like the music programs, art programs, and things, for kids who are interested in that, it's almost like recess for them, because they go to it's kind of like a stress relief from all the other stress that's going on in the school day, and that brings them back to center, I think. And so when they leave that classroom, they're ready to take on the rest of the stuff they have to do.
Right. And so, I mean, in our family, our daughter did that. She wanted to do piano. She did all the art. She did all the music. She was not the athlete. Our son was the athlete, right? Which is fine. I mean, didn't matter, right? Other than mom, she was really, she's really competitive. But that art part, and she became a chemist.
Yep.
But the art part has helped her in chemistry to develop even deeper knowledge and how she can expand those pieces.
Yep.
That's what happens. When you look at most of your physicians and everything else, they've got some music background or art background, and they've been doing that. I mean, again, year to year, I was in Green Bay, they would have the doctors in recital, and they would come in. Well, you have concert pianists that are doctors in those systems. It's amazing what that does and how that helps them grow in intellectual processing and get there.
Yeah.
So we need to keep those. Anything we can do to try to keep all of those things in school. I know that some districts are like, no, don't do it, but it really it depreciates what these kids need. Not every kid is going to be an athlete. Not every kid's going to be a musician, but you could have both. But those are the things that we have to do, is be able to give them the ability to do that.
Yep. And both those things are important. Both the sports and both the arts are very important, because the sports, just like the arts for some people, are also that, reprieve from some of the stress. It could be getting out there, getting competitive, and then, like my brother, he was an avid football player, basketball, all that stuff, and it drove him to do better in school, because you don't do good, you don't play.
Right. Yeah, and it's showing in Arcadia.
Yeah.
So our graduation rate is going higher. Our attendance rate has been higher. There's a lot of changes that we're seeing and developing all the way through. Even with our school report cards, we found academic achievement has grown in Arcadia. So we're just building that. It took a dive when it came to the COVID. That part happened. And again, we're not going to just rely on that's what. No. So we have to build from that. And we have been building, and it just takes time, because it's groups of kids coming through as a whole.
Yeah.
We did our ACT test. I talked to our assessment coordinator as we're going through, and she's like, we had high 90s of kids coming in and testing, and that's an important piece to us. We're going to have to backfill for kids that were sick, whatever it is. We'll take care of that. But what we're finding is we're finding kids are becoming, academically, they're becoming stronger. And that's kudos to those instructors that are in the classrooms and so forth. And then all the helping pieces, all of our interventionists, all of our reading whatever it may be. Again, they always talk about it takes a village, right?
Yeah.
So some of our paraprofessionals are that important piece to some of our students. And so that's what we would need to do is to look and focus on those things and be. See, we're looking at how do we enhance our tech ed area? How do we increase our CTE offerings to kids? We can't as one school do everything for everybody.
Yeah.
So we're just looking at how do we enhance each one another's school district and have kids shuffle back between that so they can get the best things they can.
Yep.
And so we're just diving into that now and trying to make sure that we get that for our kids in the area.
Yeah, and that's been the wonderful thing about this area. On talking to all you guys on Fridays, is that you all work together and you're in it for the long haul. It's not just about, we're just doing this for our school. We don't worry about those guys over there. Everyone is worrying about everyone else and helping everyone else. So
correct. I don't think you can. We're looking at, if you've been reading about decrease in enrollment. We've had a decline in enrollment finally in Arcadia. That decline in enrollment is the decline in birth rate across Wisconsin, across the nation. It is what it is. I only had 2 kids. I didn't have 4 like my parents, right? And my kids don't have any kids yet. So it's there. And so we have to work together, because we only have so much money from the community, from the taxpayers and so forth. So how do we enhance those dollars that come in? How can we enhance it for our students? Like Whitehall has the Emerging Technology Center. So why put that in everybody's school? That just doesn't make sense. It's there. Let's bus our kids there. Let's get them the skills that they need.
Yeah.
We're looking at automotive. We've really enhanced automotive. So now I've got to look at how do we put another lift in? How do we get those kids all the skills that they need so that they can actually get a career or go right to the technical college and be one step ahead of someone else, and so they can get those.
Yeah, and those are important jobs too, and high-paying jobs also.
Oh yeah. Well, again, I talk about that's why my son's not a tech ed teacher. He's being paid extremely well to be a builder.
Yep.
Well, yeah, I can only pay so much in the school district,
Yeah.
right, as you're going through. So that's the